Hi, guys. Welcome. I am really glad to do this live with you guys. I know I'm 4 minutes early, but someone said something last time. I think I was like a couple minutes late, and they're like, a woman always late. Rawr. Well, now a woman, 4 minutes early. Rawr. Thank you guys for being here. This is a really near and dear topic that we are going to discuss today. So, if you are here and this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me with such a touchy topic, which is if you've ever felt unlovable. And what to do when you've felt unlovable. I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt that, but I have definitely struggled with that. I think it's a big reason why I do what I do today. So just know that when you're watching this, and you're watching this because you've been struggling, that there's empathy here for you. There's compassion for you. There's hope for you. And so I just don't want you to feel alone. And I think sometimes when we feel unlovable, we think that we're the only one, and that in that process that we're all alone. So at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you some practical things that you can do when you get these very intense emotions of feeling unlovable and how to navigate through that. So make sure that you stay for the end of this. Also, if you're new here, I do answer your questions at the end of the video. So if you have a question, you're like, I need some help with this, please, at the end, please let me know, and I will definitely answer your question. I also want to say thank you to you guys. I had this scheduled for a couple days ago, and then we had to cancel it. And I said, due to unforeseen circumstances, and you guys were so sweet. We posted in the community that message, my team and I, and then I was getting I got emails like, are you okay? Just let us know that you're okay. And long story short, I think I told you guys I had a crappy Airbnb situation. And anyways, finally, with much aggravation, got out of that, and just turned lemons and made it into lemonade, and just thought, okay, well, shut that door. So I jumped on a plane and came to America, and will get to be with my father for Thanksgiving. Wow. My father for Father's Day, and to see my family. So it's so good. I'm in Texas right now. I'm actually in Richmond, Texas. So it's really nice to be in the States. I actually was a bit homesick. I'll be going back to France very soon, but decided to just take that situation and make it work for me. I thought, okay, well, I'll go spend some time with my family. And then I'll be back in in France. I just saw Orville Nation. You just gave me a tweet. That is so sweet. Before we talk episode 3, let's cleanse our souls a bit with Arica Angelo. I normally don't get Twitters, but thank you. That just came through. And yes, I do have a picture of myself. That's my phone. On my phone backdrop. Thank you, Orville. That's really awesome of you. Ninja Wolf, hello, my darling. No complaints, but I felt like I'd never been loved, neither touched by another person. I'm tired of meeting up with these nobodies. I don't know what I should do, Erica. No hard feelings. I just had to catch a breath from all the meditating, but I did the 5-day meditation challenge last week. I hope you, oh, I'm so glad you did the challenge. Yes, I definitely want to talk to you about that. I'm good, Antonio. I tell you what, I don't know about you guys, if any of you are from America, but as much as I love traveling and being in Bali and being in Europe, every time I hit American soil, I'm like, I'm home, I'm safe. America still provides that for me. I'm so proud to be an American. Thank you, Orville, for that shout out. That was so cool of you. Hello, Robert from Southeast Iowa. Thank you for being here. Vincente, you've never felt lovable. Lucky you. That's wonderful, darling. Jeffrey says, haven't been here for a while. Hope all is well. Jeffrey, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being back. Jason, how's my day? My day is good. I was just, I flew into Montreal and I had to stay the night because flights are jacked right now, you guys. All the flights are just, they're crazy expensive. And then they're crazy, like all over the place. Like flew in, got there at 4 o'clock and then had to fly out the next day. So I'm like, oh, now I get to pay for a hotel room. Awesome. So it was in Montreal for the night and just flew in today. And I wanted to do this live because I didn't want you guys to think that anything was wrong because, you know, I did get your emails. So Lucas, I got your email. Thank you so much. That really touched my heart. So my day's good. I've been traveling and I just came in from Montreal. Oh, who just did that super chat? Sean, you were so sweet. He says, good afternoon. Have a coffee on me. I definitely could use the coffee with all this traveling. Oh, I'm staying with my brother and my sister-in-law and their dog just walked in. Abby, come here. You guys want to see? This dog is the funniest looking dog. Abby, come here. Come here. She's not going to come. You guys have to see this dog. Thank you for that, Sean. I definitely will be having a coffee for sure. Can you hear her snorting? I gotta show them. It's too funny. You guys, look at Abby. Oh my god, she's so heavy. This is Abby. My sister-in-law's in the background going, oh my gosh. Abby is going to give you guys all the love. If you've been feeling unlovable, Abby's like, I know what it's like. Until my mom and dad rescued me, I was living on the streets and I felt so unlovable. And then they took me in their home and now I have all the love and I have all the food. So I'm going to talk with Abby. Who else is here? Jason, I'm so glad you're here. Lou, you've been single for 7 years. Jeff says, when I do feel that way, I seek my faith to guide me through. I love that. That's wonderful. Lucas, thank you. He says, how do you sustain such high level energy? I mean, listen, you're just catching me on 1 hour of my day. So I do a lot of breathing. I do a lot of what I'm grateful for. And then when I'm pissed, I do a lot of yelling. So I try to honor all emotions. Oh, thank you, Antonia. I appreciate that. Ninja Wolf says, loneliness is unhealthy for your life. It can only lead to pain, suffering, and sickness at the hospital, and it's not going to be fun. That's true. That is true. Penguin says, hello, unlovable can be in several stages. Thanks for addressing. Does this emotion go away? Ooh, that's really good. That is a great question. Orville says, no problem, Erica. Alec, I am doing well. Thank you for being here. Antonio from the Bronx. Awesome. I just started watching the J-Lo documentary. I didn't get to finish it. Oh, wow, your grandmother was born in Detroit. Very cool. Antonia says, oh, she's so cute. Ninja Wolf, she's cute. Abby, yes, her name is Abby. Thank you, Lee Lance. I'm so glad you're here. So I think, Abby, do you want to stay or do you want to go? Okay. I think she's going to stay. So listen, when we felt unlovable, this is so funny. I've never done a YouTube live with a dog. She's so cute. She really calms me. When we have felt unlovable, you know, it's a pretty dark place, right? If you've been there, like I said at the beginning of this video, I have definitely been there. And I think it's a big reason why I do what I do today. I think I always carried this sense of rejection. I always felt super unworthy. And I saw that the generations before me, that this was something in my family that also went through. And I thought, if I'm ever going to change this, I have to change it inside of myself. And so when I share from a place of like, I've been there and I've been where you are, and you're not alone. You're not alone. Thank you, Vincentes from Florida. Thank you for being here. I'm in Texas, Vincente. I'm right next door to you. Captain says hello. Red Dot says, hi, mistress. You are awesome. Thank you, darling. You know, when we're unlovable, there's a situation. Obviously, there is a lack of love, but typically it's love that most people get, and then we, for whatever reason, don't get. And we say, you know, why is everyone else getting love? Why do some people come from loving families? Why do some people get into really love enriched relationships? And why am I the person who's always alone? Why is that always me? And there's a sense of failure in that. There's a sense of despondency, hopelessness, disappointment. And so I think the biggest lie that we can believe when we feel unlovable, especially if you've gone through a breakup. Ooh, I mean, when you go through a breakup, or for you guys, you know, some of you who've been single for a long time, in either one of those situations where either you've been through a breakup or you've been single for many years, I think that the lie that we can believe is that we're unlovable, that something is wrong with us, that we're broken. And then when we feel that way, what do we feel? That there's nothing we can do about it. That almost everyone else has this figured out except for us. And when we start believing that, that's when it becomes a very slippery slope. And so the reason why I really highlight with you and say that you're not alone is because when we have this experience, I mean, it's quite visceral. You can feel it in your body, the pain that comes with that. And so when I'm taking the time to explain to you and say, like, hey, you're not alone in this, and to share a little bit of my story with you, it's because that I think is the biggest attack. That's the biggest torment of feeling unlovable, is that we are alone, that we are not worthy, that no one will ever love us. And, you know, top that off with when things are hard in your life, and maybe you're under like either financial pressures or things at work aren't going well, just life isn't working out for you. Then this really catapults, like it really goes high. And we just start thinking like, this is just life, and this is just my life, and this is how it's always going to be. And as someone who has gone through that, I want to just stop and encourage you and say that it is not always going to be this way. And I don't want to just come out and say you've got to do things differently, because I think that when you're in that place, you don't really feel capable of doing things differently. Sometimes you just need someone on a YouTube live to say, hey, you're not alone in this, and that this is not going to be your future forever, and that this is a season in your life, and seasons change and they're not there to remain forever. And when you have that desire to be loved, that this is not your forever. And I just want to remind you of that this is not your forever. And then, yes, when we get a little bit of hope, when we get a little bit of encouragement, that's when we go, okay, what do I need to address inside of me? And typically that's going through some type of healing journey, some type of awakening. For me, the process was I worked with coaches. It was in my 20s, and I had gone through a failed marriage. I went through, which I don't know if I could say I failed. I just got married too young and made a huge mistake. So I can't say that I failed at that. I think I want to change that. And then I went through some really hard, hard relationships, just some of I was just too young still. But I remember going through a very dark season of feeling super unlovable. And then, you know, on top of that, when you start seeing other couples and you see how happy they are and you see other people in love, oh man, that's like driving a knife through the heart, right? She's looking at me now. It's like driving a knife through the heart, and you just say like, this is always going to be this way, and this is my life. And I remember going through that, and I remember going, I'm really big into like self-healing. Penguin, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that gift. I remember going through this and thinking, I would see other girls. I'm always gonna be alone, I was saying I'm really into self healing, and I remember going on a journey of going, okay, I know this is something I need to heal inside of me, and I kind of went through what I would normally do is picking up books, opening up to people, and I got this intuitive hunch that it was like, nope, you need outside help for this, and I had two people in mind. And I went on a journey with them and hired them to be my coaches. And, they really got to a lot of root stuff that I had been trying to heal on my own for a long time. I'd been trying to address on my own for a long time. And I just wasn't getting resolved. And I just remember hiring these coaches. Um, That's Abby, it's not me. I remember hiring these coaches, and it's like sometimes when someone comes from the outside and they look into your life, they can see is what I called um, blind spots. And so I had some real blind spots. I had made some really strong commitments in my heart where at the time I didn't feel that love was safe and that I could win at love. And so I had really made a commitment to just be in control of life. In fact, I was just talking to my sister-in-law about that, about, A-type personalities and being in control. And I just remember going through that chapter with them where they really kind of brought up those areas of my heart that I was struggling to let go of because I believed so much in being in control. And as a result, it was like that was my commitment over love. And so, guess what? When you prioritize things like control over love, guess what you start feeling? Unlovable. Why do you start feeling unlovable? Because it's not your priority. Your priority is to be in control. So you can imagine that was a vicious cycle for me. And I remember having their relentless love for me. I mean, we went through months where they coached me. It was a full season, and they literally just fought for my heart. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And they loved me through some pretty messy, dark seasons. But even in that, I had to take a chance and let these people in. And I think that is one of the vicious cycles of when we feel unlovable is that we're already in the state where we don't feel love. And when you don't feel loved, you don't feel very attractive. You don't feel very safe. And so the idea of letting people in, get it, girl, is not a top priority. And so, but sometimes you have to look at the pain and get really honest with it and just say, I cannot live my life this way. I cannot live my life this way. I've got to deal with this. I got to heal this. I got to confront this. And so it's it's letting people in and letting them be a part of your process of exposing those blind spots, of being really candid about being really raw with someone. Orville, thank you so much for your super chat. He says it's always good to remember that everyone goes through this. I do think that a lot of people go through this, especially Mahira says, is that a dog or a pig? I think she's both. I think we all go through a time of feeling unloved, especially when we fail. Because, like, here's the thing in our Western culture, like, I think we're very much associated with like success and love. I mean, look at men. Some men will like kill themselves to be successful. So, why? That one day, a beautiful woman will be by their side and love them. But when we're not successful, we feel super unlovable because we very much associate succeeding with being loved, which is not the case. And so when you're going through that, first, just getting hope from somewhere like this, a YouTube live of someone just being with you and saying, hey, I have been there. You are not alone. You're not alone. And then opening yourself up and just allowing someone else to be a part of your process of uncovering what are the parts of you that feel so unlovable. What are those parts? What are their names? Like, I've been listening to Brene Brown's new book called Atlas of the Heart, and she was saying that there's so much power in naming our emotions. And there are certain experiences that we have that create emotions within us. So, some of us, were maybe abused by parents. And so there's shame. And so you might be feeling shame. You might feel, maybe someone, you know, just told you were no good, and you might feel super unworthy. Like, we all go through these different experiences, and then what they do is they put this marker on our life that you go, okay, because this happened, I'm unlovable. And let's talk about people who've gone through breakups. It's like, when you've gone through a breakup, and whether the person just said, I'm not in love with you anymore, or they cheat on you, or they ghost you. I know people are becoming, super weak and emotionally immature and ghosting people, or they ghost you. It's like, in those moments are very, very volatile moments. It can really be the turning point in your life if you partner with the lie that because someone did you wrong, because you're unlovable, you're not worthy. That becomes a very hard blow to partner with. And so I would encourage you, if you've gone through a breakup, that maybe reframe your breakup and say, I feel unlovable right now. But the truth is, if this person just broke up with you and it was hurtful, the truth is, I'm hurting. And the truth is that maybe that person is not my person, and they're not capable of loving me the way I need to be loved. And at one point in my life, I will be on the other side of this. Yes, you'll still grieve. Yes, it will still hurt. But not making it about you being unlovable, that not defining your experience and labeling your experience as, I'm not lovable because this person broke up with me. I remember when I was a young girl, and I was in like high school and junior high, and I wanted a boyfriend so bad. And it was like, I was a cute girl, but I don't think I was fully I hadn't fully blossomed. And so I just remember I had already carried this sense of unworthiness and rejection. And then, oh my gosh, when a guy wouldn't like me, I remember there was this guy I had a huge crush on, and he just never gave me the time or day. And I just remember feeling so like, I am just so like awful. Like, there's something just so wrong with me. And it's crazy how we can put those meanings when really the reality is, if I could talk to myself back then, I would say, sweetheart, one, this person, if they're not seeing you, they're not worth your time. And two, maybe you felt this way before that person wasn't paying attention to you. Maybe this was an experience you were already having, and this person is just magnifying what's going on inside of you. I wish I could have gone back and said that to myself. But when we feel rejected by someone else, we do associate that with, I'm just unlovable. And it's making a very strong stance in your life and saying, like, even though this is my experience, I will not partner with this. I will not let this moment define me. As much as I want to make this experience define how I feel about myself, it can't be about that. I can grieve. Yes, Abby. Yes, you are so lovable. Abby is so lovable. You can grieve, you can cry, you can hurt. But what I would encourage you not to do is to allow that to define you, to not let that bad experience define you. I'm going to let Abby get going. Okay, girl. Oof. Oh, girl, you're heavy and you're tearing into my leg and my dress. She's so funny, you guys. Hey, Maria. Thank you for being here, Blair. Yeah, you can hear her snorting. It's so funny. Captain, I'm so glad you're here. JE, he says, there are low times in life and there are good times in life. Encouragement in those low times is so needed. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I'm just so grateful, whoever you are, that you're watching this now, or maybe you even watch this later and you're like, I just like just the mere fact of you telling me I'm not alone and I'm not the only person who's had this experience is healing in itself. It's so funny. It's not funny, but when we go through these things of feeling unlovable, just having someone witness us and see us and show us some compassion, showing us empathy, I think is the most healing thing, even above advice. Like, yes, we can give advice around this. And I want to give you some practical advice at the end of this video, but it's having that sense of compassion that I'm not alone in itself can be very healing for someone. Maria says, hello, Erica. Thank you. It's hard to hear the things I've said to myself for so long. Yeah, it takes a toll on us. And when we already carry that sense of rejection, which I believe that a lot of people, it's sometimes a generational thing that kind of gets passed on, and which is why I'm so grateful that we talk about mental health and emotions now, so that we don't continue the cycles, we don't continue to pass it on from generation to generation. But that, you know, it's generational sometimes, but when we have that experience, and then we start validating that experience by saying the same things, by mirroring the things that were said to us. And then we start saying it to ourselves. That just adds more fuel to the fire. Just it stacks hurt on top of hurt. And so sometimes it's just drawing a line in the sand and getting really strong and saying, I'm not going there. Everything in my wiring wants to go there. Every emotion, every feeling says, do this. But I'm not going there. I'm not being defined by this any longer. And so if I need to grieve, if I need to work with a coach, if I need to work with a therapist, if I need to do one of Erica's online programs, my emotional warrior program is the best one for this one. And I really go into my own story of like some real private details that I share very candidly in that program, and my journey of how I came out of that and became, a very strong, very independent, but still open-hearted woman, um, with who gets to live out her purpose. It was a journey. And so my hope in creating that emotional warrior program was so that you didn't have to go through all the turns and hardship that I went through to figure out how to get through this, that if I could just lay out the path for you, that it would be an easier experience. Thank you, Orville. He says it's a great program, from what I've heard. Can feeling unlovable cause sickness? Absolutely, it can cause sickness. It can cause mental health issues, because when we feel unlovable, it puts stress on the body. And when the body gets stressed, what's that saying? Dis-ease is when the body is at ease. It's not at ease. So when we feel unlovable, it's typically surrounded with thoughts, the things that we're saying to ourselves that just bring us down. And so the body goes, I can't keep sustaining this. I can't keep up with this. And the body starts breaking down. And it's the body's way of saying, I need help. Like what we're doing isn't working and it's tearing me apart and I can't keep supporting you here. We have to make a change. We have to make a change. Blair says, you just have to move on from your heartbreak or depression. I would love to hear how you would suggest moving on. Thank you, Antonio. He says, just remember, I love you, Erica. I love you too, darling. Thank you for being here. Captain says, move on from depression. Nice words, not easy to do. I'm going to have to agree with that. Ninja Wolf says, loneliness is not a fun experience for everybody. We need to have somebody to team up with one day. I do believe that. I believe that having someone in our life does create a more rich life. In the future, I want to share more about my own experience with that. But yeah, I had a situation where I had a huge win, but then at the time I also felt very lonely. And it was like, oh, that doesn't feel good. Like to have a big dream, but also feel lonely. Like that's not it. And now not being lonely and having a person, it's like, it just adds so much texture to your life. It's just beautiful having someone. And I think that our lives are far more enhanced, far more rich when we have a partner that's loving. Um, Hi, Chris. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here, babe. Orville says people who feel lonely are more likely to have pathology. Maria says, all my life, I've never known real love. I held my heart in my hands, holding it out to give to someone only to have them crush it. I truly believed I was cursed in love, but I never gave up. Wow. Thank you for saying that. And that's, you know what, Jeff, that's such strong words. And it's so true. And I remember feeling the same thing as you. It's like, that is such a great word. You do start feeling so cursed when you have experiences like this that you feel unlovable about. And it does feel like a cursing because you see everybody else having this amazing experience with love and you think, what is so wrong with me? And you feel when we say that something's a curse, we almost feel like we're completely out of control over the situation, right? And the reality is that we're not. Now, we may not be able to access all the answers. I personally believe that we all carry the answers for ourselves, but when you're in pain, you don't know where the key is. And so that's where, doing one of my online programs, working with me as a client, hiring a therapist, listening to, I've got my connection meditation, listening to meditations, these sort of things help get us out of the despair phase and get us on a level above despair to where we feel like we can at least start doing something to get us out of the situation. And most of the time, there are changes that need to be made. Most of the time, there is healing that needs to be had. But I will say this to you, that the longer that you allow those words of I'm unlovable to continue to torment you, beat you up, be your marker in life, the deeper of a pit that you dig for yourself and the longer you prolong your pain. And now you may be saying, okay, but what's the first step? And I always believe that, like, finding that one person in your life that you feel safe with and going to them. And guys, and it's when you're desperate for change, you'll go outside of yourself. You'll go outside of the box. You'll go outside of your comfort zone when you're desperate for change. I remember at the time, there was a time in my life where I had a mentor come into my life. She's still part of my life. And most of my mentors are all still part of my life. And when she was mentoring me, she had a level of compassion, empathy, and she saw a future for me that I didn't see for myself, but she had vision for me. And I chose to almost make her like family, like a mom. And to this day, I still say that, she is like a mom to me. And to have her support, but it took being vulnerable enough to say, hey, I need you. Like I can't get out of this on my own. And because I could see her genuine love for me, I trusted that step by step by step. And so sometimes it's just finding someone who's in your corner and going, look, I got to get real with you. I got to get candid. I continue to feel this way and I can't stay there. I can't stay there and I need your help. And I think that is sometimes one of the most difficult things to do is when you're in pain to go, help, help. But it's something that we need to do. We've got to get other support. We've got to have, I'm a big believer that, let's say romantically, if you're not getting love, and chances are if you're coming to my channel and you're watching this, it's because you're struggling with not feeling love romantically. Some of you may be watching this and going, I don't even care about romantic love. Like, I just don't feel loved. And I hear you and I'm here. I'm here for you. When you're not getting it romantically, I'm a big believer of go create it elsewhere. Find a community, find a mentor, find a best friend, find someone in your family, someone who is in your corner, and let your guard down and start letting them in by giving a voice to what you are carrying and not keeping it a secret. I think that's such a huge thing. We're writing a whole new challenge. I gave you some challenges with the connection meditation, and I just kind of reworked all of that. And I can't wait for us to release that because it's really powerful of this concept of, equipping you guys to allowing people to be in your life. And most of us don't realize how many roadblocks we have, how many barriers we use to protect ourselves from actually letting people in. And we don't realize sometimes that we are our own worst enemy. I think it can be easier to blame other people for the experiences. But, I'm a big believer that if you keep having the same experience over and over, and the characters in that story keep changing, but there's only one consistent character and that's you, then you have to look at yourself and go, what kind of what history is showing me the same lesson? What am I creating? What is in my life that I can't see? How can I let someone in to love me through that? Um, yes, Lucas says, thank you for sharing your courage, Maria. Thank you. I agree with that. Antonio says, always remember the person who hurts you does not deserve your time. There is someone who will connect to you and love you for you. I completely agree with you. Absolutely. When someone's hurting us, that saying hurt people. And if they continue to do it, it's time to say goodbye. Yeah, Blair, having someone in your life does make it better. Oh, thank you, Ninja Wolf. He says, Erica, you don't deserve loneliness. No, thankfully I have someone in my life. So yes, but prior, those were some really hard seasons, really challenging. Mahir says, sometimes I tell myself I was born in the wrong era or year, 1980. I was born in 1980. That's why I can't find love or connect with anyone, but not true at all. We tend to hold ourselves back and reject ourselves. You just said a mouthful. Yes, the majority of the time, we tend to hold ourselves back and we reject ourselves. Even when we choose a partner that betrays us, that is a way of holding ourselves back. That's a way of torturing ourselves by staying with someone who is not valuing us, who's not loving us. And when we stay in that, we keep people away who will love us. And it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy that we create, and we go, I'm never, I feel so unlovable. And then we tolerate people who replay that message back for us, that become that mirror to re-emphasize that message to us. And then it just becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas when we draw a line in the sand, we go, enough is enough. I will not accept a person who's not going to love me, who's going to treat me this way. We put an end to the cycle with our decision by following through with our decision, by saying no is no, and I'm done with this. then we begin to change the trajectory of our lives, where we then, by saying no to that situation, saying no to that person, we open ourselves up for the yes, for the person to come into our lives to then to love on us. Blair Penguin says, Team Erica loves you. Oh, yes, you guys are so loved. I'm loved. You guys are loved. Absolutely. Blair says, I'm such a hard head at letting someone in my just to love. I think you in my life just to love you. Yeah, Blair, it's like, at the end of the day, I think we have to have a sit down, a come to Jesus with ourselves and say, um, like, how much more of this do you want to live in? How many more lonely nights do you want to keep having? How many more heart-wrenching relationships do you want to have? And are you willing to change that? Are you willing to start doing things different? When you start looking at what it's costing you and when you get really honest about how it hurts you, I think a lot of times we can distract ourselves from the hurt and go, it doesn't bother me, it's fine. But the minute we get really honest and we see how much our decisions are costing us, that really incentivizes us to change. Sean says, definitely definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. Absolutely. Thank you, Ninja Wolf. He says, I'll always be there supporting you for you, Erica. Thank you. Yes, 1980 crew, for sure. Retired Randy, when I go to the mirror, there's some dude giving me a dirty look all the time. Well, Randy, you know what you do to that guy giving you a dirty look? You just go up to that guy and you take your finger and you put it in his mouth and you do this. And then you take your other finger and put it in your mouth and you do this. And then you just make him do that. And you make that guy smile at you. Guys, I hope if I know a lot of you guys are here because you're my consistent community, and I'm super, super, super grateful for you guys. And there may be some of you who are coming here and you're just new to my work and you're like, you know what? I have been struggling with this for a long time. I hope that some of the words that I said comforts you and helped you feel less alone, but also to give you some insight of allow yourself to be where you are, grieve it, feel it, but then reach out for support. Realize that, hey, something's got to change. I cannot continue to accept this for my life. This cannot be the norm of my life any longer. I've got to make some real changes. And if you're at that place, there's so many resources on my website. There's my website right there, aricaangelo.com. Erica's with an A. There's no E in my name. But there are plenty of resources to really support you on that journey. Guys, I'm so grateful for you to be here. I love you so much. Thank you again for your love for me. Thank you for being such an incredible community. I will be doing another live with you guys tomorrow. So I can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. If you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And just like Orville Nation, he's been sharing my work on Twitter. If you guys if you know someone who's going through this and you know that they struggle with feeling unloved, make sure that you just share this video with them. Make sure that you share my work with them, because chances are if you're going through it, someone in your community is going through it as well. How fun was it having Abby a part of our YouTube live? That was so fun. There's a YouTuber and she teaches yoga. Her name is Yoga with Adrian, and she's also from Texas, and she does yoga videos with her dog. And I just thought, that's so weird. And now I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. It was fun having Abby. She is so adorable. It was fun having her. Mahir, I don't know what time just yet. Oh, Penguin, thank you for your super chat. That is so awesome. I really appreciate that. It means the world to me. I really, really appreciate that. I'm not sure about time. It might be a little bit, you know what? it'll probably be this time tomorrow. Just trying to get my bearings of being back in Texas. So I'm just like, what's going on? What's my schedule? But yes. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so appreciative for you. And just know that you're so loved, that you're supported. You're not alone. You're not alone. And I'm just grateful to be able to have, yes, I'm just in Texas for a little bit. I came to see the family, see dad for Father's Day. And then I will be back to France next month. Oh, Penguin, I love this. Oh, you guys, thank you for this kind of feedback. You said thank you. You hit home today. Thank you. That's good because when I know that, then I know, okay, keep making more videos, keep bringing up topics like this. Um, come back to LA. I actually might have to pop into LA while I'm here, actually. So that could be on the list. Erica's constant worldwide tour. It just never ends, but I love it. Guys, yes, please, please, please share my work on social media. Please share it with your friends. The more that you share my work, it really supports me. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. And Ninja Wolf, I'm so sorry. He says that his dad died 7 years. I'm really sorry, darling. I wish I could just give you a big squeeze. I can't wait to start doing like live events one day. And then that way, instead of just like squeezing you with my energy and my love and virtual hugs, that one day I can just squeeze all of you guys in person. I'm such a touch person. I'll just squeeze you and not let you go. Um, thank you, Blair. He says, tell your dad I said happy Father's Day. That's so sweet. Thank you. Guys, I love you. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe Abby will join us tomorrow and snort breasts again tomorrow. So I'll be here at the same time at 3 p.m. Texas time, Central Standard Time. And just can't wait. And like I said, if you need support, if you need any help, I have coaching, I have online programs that will walk you through that. Derek says my dad died 3 years ago, but he's still in a good place. Sending you a lot of love, Derek. Sending you so much love. God bless you, Penguin. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Mwah. Bye, guys.